Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Emily and I am so glad that you're here today. So I am starting off another vlog. I have come to the realization that for my season of life right now that I'm gonna have to put a pause on doing official regular knitting podcast episodes just because I don't have much time for crafting and when I do have time for crafting I'm at the moment particularly working on one specific project, and so I just don't have much to share. I'm also kind of in this in-between spot where I have a bunch of whips on my needles, I have a bunch of sewing projects and things, and spring is coming back and I am just feeling like spring cleaning my creative spaces and projects and all of that. So I thought what I'm going to start trying to do is do weekly or bi-weekly. I hope I can do weekly. I would love to do weekly vlogs with a strong crafting focus. So they won't be specifically knitting podcasts, but I'm going to talk about the progress that I'm making on my whips. I'll start off with what I'm hoping to get done this week, and it will mostly just be knitting and sewing content, but in the vlog style. So hopefully that is alright with you, and then at some point when I have a little bit more time and my boys are a little bit bigger I will be able to do proper podcast episodes again. But I think for now that it's easier because then doing it in this format I can just do little snippets here and there either throughout the day or throughout the week, and just do that way, and I can still share my progress and stuff that I'm working on. I've been really pulling back from Instagram lately, and so I haven't really been on there. I'll pop in there for a couple of minutes every 2 or 3 days or something, but I've been really pulling back from that, so I do kind of miss being able to share and talk about what I'm working on. So yeah, all that rambliness to say, this is what we're going to try out for now. So today has been a pretty busy normal Monday, just getting things put together, stripping the sheets off my bed, getting that washed. I tried yesterday to get all of the laundry done and folded and put away and everything so that I wouldn't have to worry about it today, which was very, very nice. But as you can probably see behind me, this is the typical state of my living room these days. So while the boys are napping, I'm quickly going to do a quick burst of tidying everything up, and then I'm gonna plunk down on the couch over here and do some knitting and maybe watch a couple YouTube videos or do some reading, and just kind of rest for a bit. This morning was pretty normal busy, and then I also made it a little extra busy because I was trying to get a head start on fixing some food for myself. As I mentioned in my previous video, I'm currently doing a pretty strict diet where there are only a relatively limited amount of things that I can eat, and so I do have to think ahead a good bit more than I am used to, and it's probably a good exercise for me. I have always been terrible with meal planning and whatnot, but it's probably great for me, not only in that what I'm trying to do with this relatively strict diet, but also having to think ahead a little bit. So I was running around trying to get another eggplant lasagna prepped and ready to put together, and getting a Walmart order put in, and I made some almond flour pancakes, and just kind of doing those simple things while you have a toddler and a baby all over the place. It's 3 times as more static in the brain. There's just so much more going on than typical. But yes, so I finally was able to get the baby down for his nap. I was able to take a tiny little nap, and now I'm gonna clean up this living room and just rest for a bit. I was hoping to kind of do some sewing today, but I think today I just want to sit and knit for a bit. I was hoping to be able to do that over the weekend, but then I ended up doing a bunch of sewing stuff and whatnot over the weekend. So today is for knitting and kind of thinking through my projects for the rest of the week. My goal is I kind of have a pile of sewing projects, either ones that kind of flopped, that were an attempt at a garment for me and I need to somehow tweak them, or just projects that I have not finished. There's a little apron that I wanted to finish making for my toddler. There's a flannel shirt that I would love to get done for my husband. And all of these things are in process, like all the pieces cut out, so there's like nothing. The hard part for me, at least, is done. As when it comes to sewing things, it's the cutting out part that I really dislike the most. So the hard part is done. I just need to actually like sit down and sew them together. And then I have at least one dress that's in process for me. I have what was a dress that I'm morphing into a skirt that's in process. I have another skirt. I have, is that all? Oh, I have a pillowcase that I'm working on, but that's so quick and easy. I just need to like do it. So that's what I'm talking about. I have a bunch of random projects that I just need to pick one and stop getting overwhelmed and do it. Oh, there was another dress that you can see in the basket, right? I can never do this. It's right over there. That I am working on changing around, but we will talk about that later. This week I'm hoping to get that dress and the pillowcase and then a stretch goal, the apron for my toddler done. That's what I'm hoping to get done for knitting, or for sewing. For knitting, I really, really, really want to get the triangle C. Let me grab this actually. Triangle C done on this shawl, and this is the shawl that I have been working on for the last good while. This is a test knit. I have learned my lesson with this test knit. Do not sign up for shawl test knits unless they are by my favorite designers. There's a whole story behind how I ended up in this shawl test knit, but we will not go into that right now because I want to hurry. So I am working on this piece right now, which is, there are all these live stitches on this part that I need to make the triangle that goes on there. I would love to get triangle C done this week. I think that's relatively doable if I can sit down and do a bit every day, because the rows are getting smaller. I'm decreasing, so you can kind of see there. Hopefully the lighting is okay. On my viewfinder, it looks kind of blown out, but a lot of times when it looks blown out on my viewfinder, it looks perfectly fine on the computer, so I'm leaving it alone. We will see if it's problematic later. But yes, so I am decreasing as I go along, so the rows are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, and so I would, if I could get this shawl completely done this week, that would be utter magic. I would be so happy and so thrilled, I would dance a jig. However, I don't think that that's very likely to happen. So my goal is to try and do my best to get triangle C done. Because after triangle C, I have to then work a I-cord along this edge. This is a provisional cast on. So I will have to pick up stitches and put those back on the needle and do the provisional, or not provisional, I have to do the I-cord bind off on that edge. And then I have to weave in all the ends and block it. So if I got all of the knitting part done of this, that would be, again, magic. But we're aiming for triangle C. That's my goal this week. So we will see if that happens. I'm so ready for this to be off the needles. I was ready for it to be off the needles like a triangle and a half ago, which I should mention here. This does have a little bit of a tale of woe, that I had gotten maybe like 4 rows further than this when I realized that I had missed one step in the instructions for the pattern, and I had to rip it all back out. It was like 3 days worth of knitting, because again, these days I don't have much time for knitting, and so I had to rip it all out, and it was painful, and it made me like the shawl even less. So this is a just get it done already project because I want to work on the knitting projects that make me happy, and I can't do that when I have this test knit and hanging over my head. I have until the 17th of April, I believe, so I have another couple of weeks, so I have plenty of time, but I just want to get it done. Like I am overworking on this project, so that is my goal. Get triangle C done this week as best I can and go from there. So now that I have chatted for 10 minutes, these vlogs are going to be massive if I can't keep things more abbreviated. Let's go tidy. Hello friends, happy Tuesday. So a couple quick updates for you. One, I just finished making a pillowcase for my toddler out of this really cute train flannel that I got from Hobby Lobby. I highly recommend making pillowcases. I think they are excellent little projects to make. You can make them so much cheaper than you can buy them for the most part. I just like simple cotton pillowcases or flannel pillowcases, and I can make a pillowcase out of a yard of fabric. So if you catch the fabric sales at Hobby Lobby, you can get a 100% cotton fabric pillowcase for like less than $5. So it's really economical, but it's also really fun because you can do all these fun prints. And I did have the thought while I was stitching this up that it would be really fun to do it where every year for Christmas, if you do like a new pillowcase for your kid. Wouldn't that be so cute? Because it was so easy and it's such like a reasonable goal. Because I find for me that it's just, especially with Christmas time, it's so busy. There's so many birthdays in my family and it's just hectic. But I was like, I could do pillowcases. Like if I had 5 kids, I could do 5 pillowcases in no time at all. It would be no problem. It would be a lot harder for me to try and do something like hand knit socks for all of them, or pajamas for all of them, or something to like make them. And I was like, I could whip up pillowcases. Like that would be so easy. So I think that's what I'm gonna make that a tradition of making pillowcases for my kids for Christmas. Yeah, highly recommend it. You can look up Google tutorials for making pillowcases. I just do a very simple. I mean, how complicated can you get with pillowcases? They're like rectangle bags, like. But yeah, there's nothing really to write home about that. I did do a French seam on the main seam, and then for the bottom seam, I just used the selvage of the fabric, so it's not going to fray, and I didn't have to worry about finishing it. So, highly recommend pillowcases. They're really quick and easy and fun, and you can use all the fun, bright fabrics that you might not use for other things, especially when you're doing kids' pillowcases. It's lovely. So, did that, but now I need to sit down and actually eat some lunch because I have not eaten yet. I'm going to have some eggplant lasagna, and I wanted to quickly show you the progress I made on my shawl. I got a good bit done yesterday. I'm so happy about it. I think I did about, oh, that's the back side. I can't remember exactly where I was, but I think I did about that much. I'm going to put a progress keeper on here. Well, I don't think I have one in this bag, but I'm going to put a progress keeper on here so I can show you a little bit better the progress I make over throughout this week. But yeah, I did pretty good. Like I've got quite a bit left, but the rows are getting shorter and shorter, so I think it's going to go faster and faster, and I'm just so pleased with how much I managed to get done. I'm nearing the finish line, guys. I just want to get this done. So that's making me feel pretty good because I accomplished that pillowcase, got that done. I did a little tidying in my sewing crafting space back in the office, and I've made some decent progress on this. So now I'm going to get my lunch, plunk down on the couch, try and knit for a good bit before the boys wake up, and go from there. So that's my Tuesday update for now. I feel like it's going to be easiest for me if I'm using my official camera, which I do much prefer the quality of it over my phone. That I think I will try and do like daily updates during nap time, but we'll see. I might get too excited about something and have to show it to you. So that's all I'm going to say. Wednesday. I just got up a tiny little nap. I didn't sleep much last night, but it's per usual. I thought I would quickly show you this dress and what I need to do with this. This is I believe it's the Honeybourne Dress by Cashmerette, and it's in, I can't remember the name of the book, but it's in one of the books, and I was able to get the Kindle edition of this book so that they're all, it's PDF patterns that you can print out, and Cashmerette, their whole brand is built around being very friendly for people with a larger bust size and plus size and all of that stuff. And so I have been thinking about trying them out. Also, I just realized my hair is kind of wonky. We were outside. It is like the most windy, crazy day today. And I think we're supposed to be getting a pretty big storm this evening, but it was so nice because it's like 80 degrees, but it's like windy as all get out. That's probably fine for now. And we were just outside for a little bit this morning, but anyway. I finally decided to try out the Cashmerette patterns. I had held off on trying them out for a good long time because they seem to be marketed more specifically towards plus sizing, and I have always been like, well, I'm not plus size, so I don't need that. Well, I do have the bust size for more plus sizing, even if the rest of me doesn't match a plus size. And so I was like, you know what, we're just gonna give it a try, see how it works. So this was my first attempt at it, or my first usage of a Cashmerette pattern, and there are a number of things that I don't love about it. I really appreciated the fact that it actually fits. I didn't have to do a full bust adjustment on it. Like, it fits over the bust pretty well. Let me kind of stand up and show you a little bit. So you can kind of see it fits pretty well. I didn't have to do any sort of bust adjustments or anything. Like, it's quite nice. So I appreciated that about it, but the PDF pattern had so much paper waste, it was hard for me to use it. Like, the margins were so wide. There were so many spots where it only used like a tiny smidge of like the paper that had the pattern line into it. It annoyed me so much. Like, that's one thing that it is hard for me sometimes to use PDF patterns in some ways, because you do end up with a lot of paper waste. You kind of end up with a lot of paper waste on any sewing pattern. But I really appreciate pattern companies that are aware of that and at least try to reduce how much paper waste there is. And this one is the most excessive amount of paper waste that I have seen in any PDF pattern that I have used. And I've been using PDF patterns for years. So that was very, very frustrating. It was really hard for me. I was complaining to my husband like the whole time. I was just like, this is so bad. Like, the margins were insane, and like, it was terrible. They definitely need to work on that. So I made up the dress and it was all good and fine. This is a really cute cotton that I got from Joann's last year, which now that they're going out of business, I'm so glad that I went ahead and got this, because this is a fabric that I had been wanting for, I think, a couple years now, and I had kept putting it off, and so I finally got it, and I'm so glad I did now. But it's just really cute, like fall themed, like coffee cups and pumpkin pie and teacups and all that fun stuff. Well, I should have raised the neckline. I am not somebody that likes to have a very low neckline. I have a full bust, so any sort of a lower neckline is going to show cleavage, and I am not somebody that likes to show cleavage. That is just tacky and weird to me, and I just feel undressed. So I should have raised the neckline, because very much so it is a lower neckline. The sleeves are ridiculous. If this is supposed to be for plus sizing, those sleeves are one of the most mistaken examples of pattern drafting that I have seen. I even went up a size in the sleeves, and they were way too tight. I could hardly get my arm through them. And I'm like, I don't have huge arms. Like, this is ridiculous. And so I had to chop them off so that they were shorter. I actually have, where did those sleeves go? There they are. Let me grab them. They're supposed to be like slightly longer short sleeves, and I had to chop them off significantly because they were so snug. Like, I couldn't hardly move my arms. And so I had chopped them off to this point right there, and it's still like, this whole area is just so snug. Like, the sizing is just horrendous for the sleeves. So a couple days ago I finally pulled these sleeves off, because my plan with this iteration is I don't want to get rid of it because I love this fabric. So my plan is that I'm going to just hem the armholes and turn it into like a jumper dress like this, like as I'm wearing it. That's how I would wear it, just over top of a t-shirt. Because the other part of it too was the neckline ended up wonky, and that could have been my fault, because I didn't really have quite as much yardage as I probably needed to. And so I didn't cut the like bias binding, neck binding on the bias like you're supposed to. I just cut strips. And so it ended up all kinds of wonky, and I tried to do some stuff to fix it, and it still is terrible. So my plan is I'm going to cut this bias binding off and then like probably just fold it down and hem it on its own, and see if that fixes the kind of gapey, weird, bleh. But yeah, I really want to make this work because the other part of it too, this is the adjustment that I made to the pattern. You're supposed to cut the front bodice on the fold, and the back bodice has a zipper in it. I kind of swapped it around. I put an invisible zipper right here in the front, so I can do nursing, which would be really great because you've got like a little t-shirt underneath. You just pull it up and nurse, and then zip it right back up, and it's like super nice, and you can't hardly see it. So this is one project that I need to work on. Probably not today, just because I have some emails I need to answer, I have some work stuff I need to do, and I really want to get some knitting done, so. But I thought I would share it with you that this is one of the projects that is needing to get worked on and sorted out and whatnot, so you'll be seeing it again at some point. But I'm thinking too, if I make it so that it's specifically designed to be worn with a t-shirt underneath of it, it'd be great for fall time. It probably wouldn't be as nice for summertime just because it gets so hot and humid where I live that it's just a bit much to have both layers. But with the fall print and everything, if I wore it with like a rusty orange t-shirt or even a sweater underneath of it, like a hand knit sweater, that would be really cute. But yeah, the one other thing that I will have to adjust with the bust is that the darts, where they're positioned, I don't know if you can see it, it kind of does make this little like poaching thing here, and that's just because the bust darts come too far. I need to move this one back a little bit and this one down a little bit, and that would pretty much eliminate that. So there's that. Let me quickly show you the, I just put this over top of my regular clothes. Let me show you the progress I made on my knitting, and then I'm gonna get to work on doing some stuff. So I haven't, it's crazy. I haven't gotten around to putting a stitch marker or a progress keeper on this yet, but I did get, let's see, about that much done since yesterday. So not as much as, again, as I would have liked, but some days are going to have less than others. And yesterday was just a little bit less of knitting time. But yeah, I think I got about 2 inches. Yeah, probably about 2 inches done. So we're coming along, slowly but steadily. Like I said, it may be a little bit unrealistic to want to try and get this triangle done this week, but I'm going to give it all I got and try and see. I have that many stitches left of the yellow piece to connect up. So we're getting there. And like I said, each one is getting shorter, and at this point I'm not stopping to weave in tails for this triangle just because I just want to get the knitting part done, like, so badly. So I'm gonna have a million tails to weave in. Would not knit this pattern again. At least not in the way that they have it, the designer has it written, because it has so many yarn tails. But anyway, so that's the update for now. I'm gonna sit down and drink some water and try and answer an email real quick, and then see what else I can get done while the boys are napping. Happy Thursday. We're almost through the week. This week my husband does work tomorrow on Friday, so I'll probably try and do one more snippet of filming tomorrow and then wrap it up this video. It's gonna be a long one, guys. I finished the little toddler apron, which I am so happy about it. Is it perfect? No. Is it done? Hallelujah, yes. So this is such a quick project, and I had cut it out intending to do it as a Christmas gift, and it just didn't happen. And so I had all of the pieces cut out. It's just the apron piece, and then you can't really see it, but there is a pocket section here. And then I had all the bias binding like done and made, but I just hadn't stitched it all together. So I stitched it all together. This is another languishing whip off of the whip pile, which I'm so thrilled about. I still have to snip all of the thread tails off, but this would be such a fun thing to show my toddler when he wakes up. He's really into trucks and cars and construction vehicles and things, like most little boys are. Yeah, super simple. This was just a free pattern. I can't remember which one. I just googled like toddler apron patterns and found one that was just this really simple shape, and then it's all finished with bias binding. So yeah, I think I got this out of like a half a yard of fabric, so it's a good use of scraps. And I mean, this wasn't scraps. I bought this specifically for making something for my toddler because of the red trucks. He has a little, I don't see it right now, but he has a little like Matchbox red truck. So that's done. And now my plan is, I'm very tired. The baby was up at a weird time this morning and it was just a little bit rough. We've had lots and lots of rain and thunderstorms and all kinds of crazy weather stuff happening. So I'm just going to sit in the chair for a little while and really try and get a good chunk done on my shawl. I'm getting close. I'm not going to show you right now because it's back there and kind of all in a pile. But I'm getting down to the last lap of the main knitting portion of that shawl, and I am so excited. I am so beyond ready to be done with that. So I'm gonna sit. I think I've got a knitting podcast to watch, so I'm gonna watch that, drink a bunch of water, maybe get a little snack. I've been eating a lot of walnuts and peanut butter and cashews if we have them, and cheese. Finding snacks is hard when you're like cutting out the majority of normal snack food. Yeah, I just wanted to show that this is done. And I would also say, if you're somebody who's doing Easter baskets or something for your kids, I am not, because one, my kids are both really little, and two, I just do not have the headspace this year. And we've never done Easter baskets growing up in my family. We would do like an Easter egg hunt, but we never did the Easter basket thing. But if you are somebody who does that, along with the pillowcases that I have shared in this video, this would also be an excellent, easily whipped up little gift that would be very inexpensive and fun, because you could pick the fabric that matches whatever interests they have, or just, if it's like a little girl, you could do a really pretty little like floral fabric. So adorable. But yeah, it was super fast and easy, and highly recommend it, especially if you just bought pre-made bias binding instead of making your own. It would be even faster. So that's another little thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I was going to use it for a Christmas present, but now it's just going to be a just because I love you present, which is honestly excellent. I love those kind of presents. So let me get some knitting done before the baby wakes up, because he's probably going to be awake any minute now. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it through the week. Hooray. I'm so ready for the weekend. It's been a little bit exhausting the last couple of days with sleep and lack of sleep, and last night the baby did fine, but we had these really loud, strong thunderstorms all night that was just keeping me up. But happiest of days, hooray, I have finished the knitting portion of the shawl, and I cannot tell you how happy I am to be done with this. However, because I was really focused on just getting the knitting portion done, because I had to finish up triangle C here, and then I had to come back and take out a provisional cast on, and then finish doing an I-cord bind off all along the edge. It looks really lovely, but I now have tails to weave in. I'm really glad that I kept up with tails for the most part. So from the first triangle, I only have these few tails here, but I do have all of the tails from this triangle. So my plan is to sit down and work through a good deal of these and try and get that done today if I can, and hopefully if I can get it done, then I'm going to get it washed and blocked tonight and then just be 100% done with it. I'm so ready for that. I'm over this project, if you haven't gathered. So that is done. I'll have to weigh all my yarn, send in the feedback report and all of that, but I'm going to work on binding that off. But then I've decided that my next project that I'm going to get done, sorry, I'm so tired, is a project that has been in the making for over a year, if you count getting the yarn as the beginning of the making process. Okay, cool. And that is the blanket for my baby. And I haven't really shared much of this on my channel because I am in the process of making a project vlog for it. I don't know when the last time was that I filmed a snippet for it, so I need to film a new snippet for it, but just looking at it makes you happy. So I need to get this done. I'm more than 50% of the way done with it. I was working on it a bit when the baby was born, but then I just haven't touched it, honestly. And I was like, you know what? This is the next project. This is the next one I'm going to tackle, because I'm slowly kind of making my way, in addition to making my way through my sewing projects that have been languishing. I think there's like dust and everything else in here. I've decided I'm going to slowly start making my way through some of my languishing knitting and crocheting projects that have just been sitting there that I really, really want to get done. So this is going to be the next one that I'm going to tackle because it's relatively mindless. I do have to count to make sure that I get the ripple in the right place, but it's relatively mindless. I'm not going to have a ton of tails to weave in because I'm crocheting over all of the tails, and I would love to get it done. I love how this looks. Like, honestly, I'm so proud of myself. I feel like I picked like the perfect striping length and pattern. And the colors are just, oh, I love it. I love, 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 love how this is turning out. So, I have all of my yarn. This is a Le Creuset bag. I have all of my yarn in here. I'm just using the Hobby Lobby I Love This Cotton yarn. And that's my plan. I'm going to weave in some tails, and then I'm going to come back and work a little bit on this. I have a reading book video to edit, and then this video to start editing, so there's that. I'm going to sit and do that. My battery light is flashing now, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I really appreciate you hanging out with me this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed making a vlog like this, and I'm kind of hoping, like I said, to make one about every week, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful week so far. I hope you have a lovely weekend ahead of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!